My guy. You all right? All right, guys, let's go ahead and jump into it. This is a lot of fun for me because not just drones on this channel, but I also love bikes, mountain bikes and e-bikes, commuter bikes, anything with wheels. I love it. Also skateboard reviews on this channel as well. But today we're gonna talk about the brand new Engwe M20 right here. You can get it in a single battery combination or you can get it in the dual battery combination that I have here. They also have an upgraded battery that you can get, which will extend your range. But right now, as it sits with the dual battery option on here, these are 48 volt batteries. They are 13 amp hours a piece, and they charge in probably about 6 hours time with the included charger. But that's gonna get you about 94-mile range. So it is a kind of a long distance moped slash mini motorcycle. I say mini motorcycle because it really does feel like a Honda 80 back in the old school days on some of the trails. The tires are 4-inch, 20-inch tires with mag spokes in the middle. And once you get on the trail, the difference between this bike and another bike that we rode on the same day, it was a folding sort of commuter class bike with a thinner, I call it the not so fat tire. It's bigger than a regular bike tire, but it's just a little fatter than that. So this is a full fat tire on the front, and you can really feel it like hugging in the curves. So that was super cool. But we're gonna go ahead now. I'm gonna show you a little bit about the bike, you know, in a little bit of comparison to something like the Engwe Engine Pro. You guys have probably seen that review on my channel previously. It is a folding bike that gets around 50-mile range, whereas this one will get you up into almost 100 miles of range, which is pretty crazy. So let me go ahead and let's take a little closer look at this bike. And after that, I'll take you riding with Art and Diego. Here we go. So first up, we have the batteries. There is 2 batteries that can go on this bike. You can also get, you know, the single battery option. You get a user manual and you get a Li-ion battery charger user manual as well for your Li-ion charger. Now the Li-ion charger, it takes like 4 to 6 hours to top off these batteries once you get them all the way down to dead. It has a red light on here while it's charging, just plugs in the wall, and this is like a 2 amp charger. It's not super fast, it's not a quick charger because, you know, e-bike fires, not a good thing. So you want to slow charge these batteries, take care of them. It also has a lock here on both sides of each battery to be able to lock it to the bike frame should you go into a store. Sometimes I'll just leave them on the bike, or you can choose to take them off and just disconnect them. They also have an on-off switch here on each battery to activate it, and it looks like they have a USB port here as well, maybe for charging your phone while you're riding the bike. That's kind of a cool option. So this is my M20 all decked out with both batteries on there, 94 miles of range. I only have one charger, so I do have to charge them separately. If you get the dual battery long distance version, like I have here, I suggest getting this like a second battery charger so you can charge them up both at the same time, because it did like take 4 or 5 hours to charge up one of these batteries from the factory. I also like that they have a button here. Once you flip the switch on the side and turn it on, it will give you kind of an LED display here of how much time you have left on this battery. And right now it looks like I got a full charge on that battery, so that's kind of cool. And I'll flip this one on the other side here and we can check that as well. That shows me I've got pretty much a full charge. And then over here is where we control the bike horn, which is kind of hilarious. I call it a passive aggressive horn. Let's see if it'll work. It's not gonna work till I turn it on. So the power button is here, and when you're in the dark or somewhere dim, the lights automatically turn on, which I think was pretty cool. We have 2 headlights up front, which really make it kind of like more like a vehicle. And you have, I believe it's 3 different shades to this. And let's go ahead and try to turn those up and down. There's a light button right here, and our horn, there's our passive aggressive horn. There it is. It's actually pretty aggressive indoors. It sounds a lot nerdier outside. So if you press the light button here, you can do multiple things here. Let's go ahead and show you the different shades. So looks like high and low beams. You know, when I'm out on the trails too, I kind of turn them down to low, and they're not quite so offensive, but they're quite cool looking. Much beastier than the previous version of this bike. And one thing to me that made it feel motorcycle-like, reminded me of that old school 1980s like Honda 80, was the sort of BMX handlebars. You can put those on with 4 bolts. You'll have to install this from the factory. You put these 4 bolts on, and then you can move them backwards and forwards. But it doesn't seem to be any up-down adjustment, which would be kind of cool because it does have sort of that kind of motocross type of stance on this seat and handlebar setup. Now, the back seat to me, again, like I feel like the seat is, it could use some more padding because honestly the padding is quite small, and this is a smaller version than the banana seat that I've seen on this style of frame before. So they shorten the seat here, and you're not really touching this as much, but it would be almost impossible to put this underneath this top bar. But yeah, that's not the greatest spot for that to be sitting, in my opinion. And I wish there was more padding on the seat. So you might be able to get like some kind of a seat cover, some extra gel cover to put over top of this, just give you a little more padding while you're riding. But I do like that it has dual suspension. It has one under the seat right here, and that's up to about 750 pounds of pressure there. The M20 also has dual suspension on here. It's the HLT 100, up to about 750 pounds of pressure on that back rear suspension. So that's kind of giving us a nice cushy ride here. Like along with the fat tire, it makes it super cush. It's a lot softer than a regular bike ride. It's really nice. And up front, we have 2 suspension on each side of this fork, which is, you know, a standard shock mount suspension, and it is adjustable, which is cool. They have an anodized aluminum red kind of compression tab right here that you can turn it all the way to hard, like pretty much no suspension, and then you can let it all the way out, and it'll give you a nice suspension for riding on trails. And this bike also has a rear hub 750 watt all the way up to 1,000 watt peak motor. So when you're trail riding, you want to get a little more juice, you can up the speed on the handlebars up here, and you can go all the way up to the top gear. You also have 7 different gears that are Shimano gears on this bike as well. So 7 speed. If you run out of battery, you can still ride this like a regular bike, which will end up getting you home. But if you press the positive button here, you'll see right on the display that this goes all the way up to the top gear, which is 5, and that'll get you up to about 28 miles per hour. So aside from some pretty nice aluminum welded construction here, down below we have a pretty sturdy kickstand, and I just noticed this little screw right here. If you release this, it will allow us to add extra length or shorten this kickstand, which if you want your bike to kind of lean further over, depending on where you put it, if you put it in the grass and you want it to be taller, you can make it taller or shorter. So that's just me kind of nerding out on a little detail on the M20. And over on this side is our chain cover here, the pedals, which you have to put on yourself. There is a wrench in the box. They do have stickers that tell you which way they screw on. The right and left sides are noted, which is cool. One thing that I did notice is that they didn't have any type of lubricant on the chain, so you will have to get some chain lube and make sure your chain's nice and lubed up. We also have Shimano derailleur back here. It's a 7-speed Shimano tourney derailleur on the back, and up here you can see the GT 48 volt 750 watt motor inside that hub. So that's our brushless motor that's powering this bike, and it does have quite a bit of speed. I also noticed it had the Chang Yang 4-inch 20-inch tires on there, and I believe the tire pressure is pretty low. It's like something like 25 psi, 25 to 30 psi on these tires. This bike also has a kind of a motorcycle style throttle, twist throttle here. So some people like that, some people don't, but it made it feel more like a mini bike to me. When I was on the trail, it really felt like I was like just kind of like motorcycling through the trail without all the noise. That was pretty cool. It is not a kind of a thumb throttle here. So some people like the thumb throttle, some people like the twist throttle. Just depends on what your riding style is. But you can also get a kit where you can add like a rear view mirror on this side, and they have another kit that has some kind of accessory that can go right where this battery is to give you some kind of like almost like a gas tank look storage on this bike. If I press on the brakes up front, this is cool because when I was riding behind my friend, you could see that every time he hit the brakes that he was indeed braking, and that's pretty cool that it does have a working brake light out of the box. I didn't have to do anything extra to get that set up. Just plug in a couple wires and I was good to go. But speaking of go, let's go ahead now outside and let's take this beast for a ride. Let me show you what the M20 is all about. on and off the trail. My guy, you all right?
Yeah.
Dude, I was just commenting, like, he's up there flowing on the one wheel.
That's gonna be some good footage. Oh man.
That's why we wear the helmets. The light turns on when you brake, dude. It lets me know when I'm about to hit you from behind. Come on, check out my horn. My passive aggressive horn. Very passive aggressive, this horn. He was not amused. You see, it's fast. I swear I think that back fender on that bike's a little bit loose, like something's rattling back there. Yeah, it might be a leaf stuck in there or something. E-bike, fastest. It sounds like you have a rock stuck in the back tire. Dude, I'm burning up. Just did a burnout. Follow D. Follow the D. Oh! Oh! What's that?
You know, car position. And sometimes it leads me out with like 4 helicopters all chasing the same helicopter at the same car, right? So you got 2 helicopters on one side, 2 on the other.
Passing on the left. Oh my god. Oh my god. Max is flowing. Ah! Oh shit. Yeah, it feels more like a moped, right? Like through the trails and stuff, no problem. Let's go! Let's go! So I love being off-road with this thing. This thing is a beast off-road. Oh, little jump there. Oh yeah, that's the way to go. All right, guys, welcome back from the trail ride. Now I can kind of give you some honest feedback on like what I think about this bike. You know, as a reviewer, I get a lot of e-bikes in, and I've reviewed the first Engwe that I ever reviewed was the Engine Pro. You guys have probably heard of that one. If you're into e-bikes or you're looking for an e-bike, the Engine Pro is probably one of the most popular ones out there. It is a kind of a folding fat tire bike, whereas this one's kind of like just like a straight up like commuter bike, a towny bike that's going to be super durable, super robust. It is a total beast. It's not like a light little tiny bike. So anybody could ride it as far as like taller guys. I'm 5'10", almost 6 foot. But for me, it was fine. There is no way to raise or lower the seat. So you're kind of chilling in like this type of kind of laid back, casual riding style. It is not like a real bike for speed, but if you want to get all the way up in like 5th gear, you can do almost 28 miles an hour. So if you live in New York City or a commuter or something like that, you can rip down through the streets. I don't know, it depends on what your local speed limit laws are, or bike lane laws are. In Portland, I think the speed limit for e-bikes is like 25 miles per hour, 20 to 25, I believe. And in some towns it's even like 15 miles an hour. It just depends on like where you live. But like out in the country on the trails, if I live somewhere rural, this would be so much fun, like just kind of like taking a trail out down through the neighborhood, maybe toward your downtown area, riding around, just going down there to grab a slice of pizza or something like that. But for like errands in our neighborhood, if I need to go to the hardware store or something like that, this is a ton of fun. But I think the most fun for me is like getting together with my guy friends, like calling them up and being like, hey man, you guys want to do a ride tomorrow? I have a certain amount of time from this time to that time. Let's bring out our bikes and our one wheels and let's all like hit the trails together. And we have no other ideas about going somewhere like a destination, but we're just more like exploring the trails around in our local parks. And sometimes they have sidewalk riding or they have off-trail riding like what you saw in this video. So that's been like the funnest thing to me, is like getting our friends together and like having something to do with your buddies and a reason to get outside. When I came back that day from riding, like I was just in such a good mood for the rest of the day, because we almost got a little bit of trouble. We were playing around and we just had a ton of fun with this bike. But yeah, nobody got in trouble, and we made it home in one piece. And I have more range than I'm probably going to ever use on this bike. I mean, 94-mile range. It's almost like we could take a trip outside of town with this. If you wanted to take this on a camping trip, you could definitely pull like a little mini trailer, a bike trailer behind it. You hook it up to the back tire. A lot of people are doing that, so that's pretty cool. Even like little mini campers and stuff, people are putting behind these bikes, these little ultralight single person campers, for just getting outside, and that's what it's all about, man. It's getting outside, and I love the style of it because it's definitely like a Honda 80, but like a grown-up 2023 version of a Honda 80 that doesn't annoy everybody in the whole neighborhood. It's quiet, but it has a lot of power to it. So I had a ton of fun reviewing this one, and this is probably one of my favorite bikes yet. Even though it is a beast, it is super heavy. It's just like, it's the motorcycle that I always wanted as a kid, but silent. So I appreciate you guys watching my reviews. Please stay tuned on the channel. Subscribe for more e-bike reviews and drone stuff right here on the channel. I'm Justin Davis, guys. Take care, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.